Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, episode 200, coming at you from SHOT Show 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am your host today, Craig DeLuz, but as you all know, I do not do this program by myself.
No, I help do this program. I am Mike Pokorski. I am here to help as the co-host from the East Coast, although we are here together live at the Beretta Media Zone, SHOT Show 2022, Las Vegas, Nevada, on The Rundown, where we bring you 2A news and conservative views. It's great to have you with us on our 200th episode.
Folks, I got to tell you, when we started this last March, Mike, I didn't realize 200 episodes would come up so quick.
I know, right? I feel like we should get a raise.
We should get a raise. I think, matter of fact, tell you what, we're going to double your pay.
I'm out.
Double your pay. I wouldn't retire on that. At least I wouldn't try to retire on that.
Wait, did you say retired?
Retarded.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Did I say retarded?
Whoa, hey.
Uh-oh, YouTube's going to ban us again. We finally got back, and now they're going to take us out because I used the R word. I do apologize.
That's all right. I respect you and receive your comments, and we're really to release you from your debt.
I very much appreciate that. Now, with us, we actually have two very good friends. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit so that we can actually see them pretty well. We have our good friends. Y'all know Earl. Everybody say hi to Earl.
His name is Earl.
And also we have Billy. Billy.
Wild Bill.
Wild Bill in the house.
Wild Bill. Bill is the man. Bill, you guys might remember Bill from my days at the Firearms Policy Coalition. He was the one who made me look all purdy and stuff when I used to do coffee.
You were working hard back then, weren't you?
I don't think the chroma key was able to keep up.
That was with Vivid Video? Was that right?
No, it was not.
Oh, right.
No, it was not, Mike. I realized that AVN is like,
Aviation? Yes, I am a pilot.
The Aviation Network.
Yeah, Mike ain't right. So how are you guys enjoying SHOT Show so far?
It's been a while for me. How about you?
Yeah, I want to say it's been a few years. I think the last time I came out was with Craig when we were at Firearms Policy.
I think that was 2016.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was.
It was a little bit ago.
It's different. The attendance is down a little bit. They've also spread the room out. They've added on another section, pavilion. I don't know the exact terminology. But then also in the facilities we're in, we're sitting in the media zone brought to you by Beretta because Beretta's not here. So otherwise we'd be out front in a little hole in the wall. We're out in the middle of everything right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say
lot more room. That
time that we came, you guys were just on a little table out there. Yeah. Because we'd met you guys at GRPC right before that.
Right.
They
normally have us stuck over. They normally have us in a hallway. Right?
Yes.
Which is good because the sound is a little bit better, but you miss the foot traffic and all of the people and all of the trappings being involved in SHOT. So anyway, but this is our 200th episode.
Already.
I forgot my tux. You know what? I actually do have a suit I brought with me for the fashion show, and I would have worn it for this if I had known, if I had counted correctly.
If you had counted correctly. You evidently did not count correctly. But there's one other thing there's one other thing that's very important to recognize about today, Mike.
Oh, it's a very important day.
Very important day.
It's Taco Tuesday.
Nice.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos. Out in the street, tacos.
Funnier.
All you can eat, lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum.
Sour cream.
Yes, it is raining tacos. We are in the Southwest.
We are in the is this the Southwest?
Las Vegas, it's southern Nevada. So yes, it is. We are still considered the Southwest.
It's like southwest.
Right.
Okay.
I guess everything on this side of the Sierras is the Southwest.
Yes. Okay, I'll give you that.
But an important thing to note, though, is, and I will still say this, California has the best tacos still. Nevada is not even close.
No. Not even
No.
close.
No, not even close.
In
But
fact, I mean, LA County and everything south is pretty amazing
No.
for obvious reasons.
oh yeah. Yes, no, it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. So anyway, I don't know if we will be enjoying tacos, but at some point we will be enjoying some food.
I'll be having tacos. It depends on how good they are, whether or not I'm enjoying them. So
There you go. There you go. So we will be having tacos. Don't necessarily know if we're actually going to be enjoying them. There you go. All right, we have dawdled enough. Why don't we go ahead and get into today's
enough comedy.
news.
It's joke time.
Yes. All right, we're going to move into story number one. Story number one has to do with the election takeover. That's right. There is a federal. Well, basically, Democrats are trying to take over elections. They found that when 2022 came along, when when COVID came along, they were able to change a bunch of rules all throughout the country, didn't have to go through the right process, and now they want to keep those things in place. Various legislatures throughout the country decided, we're going to keep some of those things that worked, we're going to get rid of some of those things, we're going to regulate some of those things, whatever. They did things that kind of pared back some of that stuff. Changes that were made, quite frankly, illegally and unconstitutionally in 2020. Well, now Democrats are basically losing their minds because they're like, no, they're trying to keep people from voting because they don't like black people. And so therefore, they are racist, and we're now going to stop their bill. And in order to do that, we're going to force them to overturn the filibuster, which, by the way, is the thing they really want to do. They really want to overturn the filibuster. Well, it looks like they're not gonna have a real good shot at overturning that filibuster, as the two Democrats, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, have decided that the two moderate Democrats who've all told them all along they are not going to vote to overturn the filibuster are actually keeping their words and not overturning the filibuster. Mike, you and I have talked a lot about this. What are your thoughts on first of all on just how they're treating Manchin and Sinema in terms of the conversations and in terms of what they're doing in the media and how they're going after them?
Well, first thing I told you, I'm getting a hat made. It says Manchin, America great again. All right, is this guy single-handedly is defeating his own party for ridiculousness? What's going on is that and Craig and I, you guys hear us have this educated debate here, every once in a while when it comes to the election fraud. There was election fraud. Okay, election fraud. You won't be able to prove me otherwise. I'm one of those. I've seen enough evidence. I've seen 200,000 absentee ballots that had no folds in them. Guess what you have to do when you get an absentee ballot? You have to mail it in. You have to mail it back and forth. You have to put it in a folder when you turn it in. Yet none of them had any folds in them. Isn't that strange? Anybody find that any strange? How about suitcases full of ballots pulled out from underneath a table in Atlanta? How about magical ballot boxes that were put on the streets in Wisconsin? How about we're blocking the windows and throwing all the Republicans out while we're counting ballots in Pennsylvania? Here's what happened, folks. Terrorist-style tactics. All right, how do terrorists work? They put out the jihad from above, and then each individual cell, knowing their commander's intent, carries out their task as they seem fit. There's no central command. Nobody waits for the major's orders, the colonel's orders, or the general's orders. They've got their marching orders, and they take it, and they do it, and they complete their task as they see fit, individually working alone, which is why terrorism works so well, because there's no mass head. There's no head to terrorism. It's all individual cells operating with the idea that was given to them. That's how they did this. That's how the Democrats did this. From state to state, from county to county, to city, they all carried it out their own ways. They were told to steal the election any way you can. And it all happened in so many different ways, hundreds of ways, actually to their benefit, because when presented in court, there was no organized method, no organized effort that could be found, because they did it via terrorism tactics. Your election was stolen to you by Democrats through terrorist tactics.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, it was nice knowing you. We were back for like a week or so, or a day or so. I think yesterday was our first day back. Unfortunately, we probably won't be back tomorrow.
We'll see you on Facebook tomorrow.
We'll see you on Facebook tomorrow. But chances are we won't be back. We won't be back here. That was an interesting layout, and I can't say that there's a whole lot that there's not. I'll put it to you this way: there is as little evidence to refute what he says as there is to support what he said. You can make an argument either way. I think I 100% agree. There was a whole bunch of hinky stuff that went on during the election. Was it enough to overturn the election? I don't know. He's convinced. You're convinced.
Here's the reason. Let's look at our next story. Here's the reason why it was not enough to overturn the election. Again, because nobody went out and did the same thing. They all found their own individual ways. A terrorist. Some will put a Molotov cocktail in the back. Some will build an IED. Some will put a flaming rag in your gas tank. Okay, everybody accomplishes their mission differently. This is what they did. In Wisconsin, what they did was they went and put out ballot boxes. This sounds good, right? You put your ballot boxes out so you can put your absentee ballots in your ballot boxes. And guess what's not in the law, though, in Wisconsin?
Well, no, actually, they changed the rules. So technically, they're not supposed to. See, according to federal law, in order to change let me clarify. According to the Constitution, let's be clear, that part of federal law.
Yes.
In order to change federal elections, in order to change the rules, that has to be done by the legislature. In a number of states, including Wisconsin, it was changed by the election officials.
Right, which means people made up rules. Okay,
right, exactly.
The law. It's not. When I say it's not, it was not within the law.
Yes.
It was not within the law.
Yes.
The law says if you can have a ballot box, you can have a ballot box at a remote turn-in station. So there was not. It was not authorized under Wisconsin law. Yet many of them, right there in the Capitol. Hold on.
Wisconsin, I'm saying Wisconsin wasn't. You're making an argument that I already agree with. So why are we arguing about it?
Because we're giving you. The reason is because you asked, why didn't this stop the election? Because it's taken now this long. It's taken a year for the court to find that it was illegally done. And by the way, it wasn't all that was illegally done. They did ballot harvesting. Ballot harvesting is when I go to everybody's house that has an absentee ballot, have them fill it out, and then I transport it back to either the voting precinct or to the illegal ballot box. And they found that both occurred in Wisconsin. And said if they had discovered this before the election was certified, it would not have been certified. That President Trump would have won that state.
But it wasn't about discovering it because they knew it was happening. And we all knew it was against the law. Why it took them so long to make this ruling?
Because Democrats controlled certain portions of the courts there and delayed.
Right, exactly. What do you guys think? I know you got an opinion.
Oh, I agree with you. You know, one of the things, 125% voter turnout, that's never happened. You know, they sit down and 300,000 different ballots came in, and all of them were for Biden. Mathematically, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much out there that and nobody's questioning it.
Well, I just think it's odd that all of a sudden, you know, it was okay for them to basically come out and say for years that Donald Trump stole the election. But if Donald Trump said that they stole this election, all of a sudden now he needs to be brought up on federal charges. And I was watching Readout, which is MSNBC's Joy Reid yesterday, and you had Eric Swalwell on there, you know, the guy who sleeps with Chinese spies.
Newcomb Swalwell.
Right, Newcomb Swalwell, yeah. Basically came out and was like, yeah, no, I mean, we need to be charging Donald Trump with treason and sedition and insurrection simply for giving a speech. Anyway.
Wow.
Crazy whack.
I guess it's illegal to talk now, right?
What?
Everything we say can and will be used against us regardless.
Can and will be used against you in a court of law, especially if you're a Republican and they happen to be Democrats. That there be how it be. All right, we'll move on to our next story. Now, this was one, so this kind of feeds in a little bit about what we were talking about. Mikey was talking about the drop boxes. Mike, just fill them in real quick about what was going on with the drop boxes.
Yeah, again, just to wrap from the last segment, in Wisconsin, they ruled that it was that illegal activity occurred when it came to the drop boxes. Many jurisdictions there, electoral heads from their counties decided, we're going to make these drop boxes for absentee ballots. Which is not bad in theory, except guess what? You as the appointed official don't get to make law. You are actually part of the executive branch, and you get to enforce the law. But you did not create the law. You were not part of the legislative branch. You cannot make these laws. You cannot. And these were clearly designed, by the way, where they were placed to help one party of voters and not the other. And where do I mean, folks? They put the boxes in the hood. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Well,
they put the boxes in the hood.
And here's the thing. A lot of this stuff was funded by Zuckerberg and Facebook.
Yep.
A lot of it was funded by George Soros. This quote unquote, in order to help promote elections, right? in order to help increase and improve voting. But like I said, many of the things that were done were put in place by election officials who, by the way, don't get to change the rules of elections. And I think we're going to see in court case after court case they're going to turn out to have been wrong. And Democrats really aren't going to care, because now what they're trying to do is they're trying to now have a federal takeover of those elections so that they can, do whatever it is the heck they want to do. That's RB. Anyway, moving right along, you guys are going to love this one. Now, I stopped watching the NBA right during COVID. Middle of COVID, when the team that I root for, the owner of the Kings, decided that he was going to fire their announcer for tweeting,
That's right.
for responding. He was asked a question, and he said, he was asked a question, what do you think about Black Lives Matter? And he sent a return tweet, all lives matter. I think all lives matter, every single one. And he got fired for it.
Isn't he also an NBA Hall of Famer as a former player?
No, different guy.
Oh, okay.
Different guy. So, and then they turned
follow
around and they
basketball.
replaced him with a anti-cop BLM, anti-cop liberal from ESPN. So I stopped watching the NBA. Well, now, once again from California, the owner of the Warriors has decided to. He was asked a question about, we all know that they make a lot of money in China. The NBA makes a boatload of money in China. In some cases, more money than they do here in the United States. But he was on a podcast and they were talking about the Uyghurs in China, where, for those of you who do not know, they're a religious minority there in China, where you are not allowed to have any religion except praising the emperor of China.
What's the name of that religion again?
Uyghurs.
Uyghurs.
They were Uyghurs, right. They basically are putting them in concentration camps. They are gang raping their women. They are putting them to death. I mean, it is bad what they're doing. And when asked about, do you feel kind of guilty about making money in China when they're doing this, this was his response.
Nobody cares about. Let's be honest. Nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs. Okay, you bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of us don't care. I'm just telling you a very hard.
Wait, you're saying you personally don't care?
I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth. Okay, of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line. Okay, of all the things that I care about, it is below my line.
Disappointing.
So what he's saying here is that of all the things in the world that he cares about, the fact that, the place where he's making a boatload of money, the fact that they are killing, that they are raping women, the fact that they are killing people because of their religion and putting them in concentration camps, the fact that they have slavery right there in China, that doesn't matter to him at all. And by the way, this is the guy whose technology is supposed to be, they call it social capital. That's supposed to be where he made all of his money. This company called, I think it's called Social Capital, where they're supposed to be helping people invest in companies that care about our future and our community.
Yes, they care about your community, and like I care about NBA, evidently. So it's this guy does not. That's the owner. That's the owner we just saw.
Yes,
that's
that was the owner.
And you care about basketball, your basketball team. I mean, I guess at some level, that's a pretty good statement on his part, yeah.
Well, but how bad is it for you to say, I just don't care? I mean, it's one thing to say, I don't really know if. I understand it's thousands of miles away. It's not something I can have a direct impact on. That's something really to take up with the Chinese government. At least I wouldn't buy that, because my attitude is, look, this is not that far away. I mean, it's thousands of miles away, but you're making money off of this.
No, I think he was looking for more of the Dalai Lama response, or trying for the Dalai Lama response, and ended up with Dolly Parton.
And I ended up with Dolly Parton. I mean, dude, what? To say you don't care at all.
He's making a lot of money.
Right. I'll tell you how much he cares. He cares enough to not say anything.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't want to get canceled.
Yep.
Lie, deny, make counter accusations.
As long as the money comes in, he has no opinion.
It's funny. Eric. His name is Eric Cantor Freedom, right? Because he spoke out, and I forget which team he plays for. Their teams are not televised in China right now. So they're making no money off of being televised in China.
Yeah. what's the phrase that came out a while ago? It's like, go get woke, go broke.
Get woke, go broke.
Get woke, go broke.
Well, yeah, but once again, you got folks like this and folks like LeBron who, they want to tell us how we're supposed to live. They want to tell us how bad America is. Here it is. He's making money because he's got that big ass. Forgive my French. Sorry, folks. He's got that huge deal with Nike. That lifetime. He's got that lifetime deal with Nike, right? So he ain't saying that. He got little Chinese children, religious slaves producing his shoes, and so he didn't have anything to say about that because he's making money off of it.
But to get that tight threading, you have to have small hands. You have to. I mean.
We're never going to stay on YouTube. I've just come to that realization. Mike is going to make sure of it.
I don't have Chinese shoes. In fact,
I
have shoes that are causing me blisters, so I might have to get me some Chinese shoes.
I do not have Chinese shoes. There you go. All right, well, let's talk. Well, speaking of Chinese shoes, let's talk about California.
Yay.
Going back to Cali.
Turns out California supplies 40%. Let me show you this again. 40%, according to Bearing Arms, 40% of the crime guns that are found in South America came from the United States of America, right? I believe, and a huge majority of them actually came from California, Florida, Texas, and there it is right there. California is the place you ought to be if you want to
load up the truck and move to Beverly.
That can't be because you're supposed to register those.
Oh, Billy has a point. How's that possible? How could they be coming from California if they're registered?
Well, because I believe what happened is they went ahead and they registered them in California. That's how they found out they were California guns.
Oh, you know what? I can see how they register them in California, but they list the alternate address in Mexico City.
Exactly.
It's right. That's my gun's summer home. That's what it is. My gun's summer home is down in Mexico.
Yeah, but so there's an article over there at Bearing Arms. Tom Knighton wrote this piece, pointing out how basically, so let's just be real. They're coming from border states, and the only border state that wasn't included in that were Arizona and New Mexico. Were the only ones that weren't included in that particular list.
Louisiana.
Louisiana's on the Gulf. Does it actually border Mexico?
Texas border state.
No, it's
Wow, I'm just.
You got Florida listed in there, and Florida doesn't border Mexico.
Well, I said most
borders Cuba, bro.
It does, but most Cubans don't go to Cuba anymore.
But it borders Cuba.
Surprised.
The Cubans are coming here.
I'm actually shocked that Democrats are not actually building a wall between us and Cuba.
Yeah.
For some reason, though, them and Haitians seem to be the only immigrants they don't want to come into the United States.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I don't know. No telling.
We have no idea.
I mean,
racism.
Their food's pretty good.
The food's pretty good.
The president's a racist.
Cuban sandwiches are awesome.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what's happening. Okay, well, hey, you know what? We are like we're not way over. We're not too bad. So we're still within the realm. But we're going to move on to our parting shot. You want to preface this one, Mike? You want to kind of give us a pre-introduction?
Just a little bit of insight. Every once in a while, I like to see somebody that you don't think that it's going to give a response or give a statement. Whether that's a serious actor that throws out something comedic, or the opposite, a comedian who gets all serious on your butt. And that's what we have with our good friend from was it Cracovia, right? Isn't he from?
I have no idea.
No, Kazakhstan. He's from Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. Our good friend from Kazakhstan, Sasha Borat Cohen.
Okay.
Borat.
Let's see if we can.
Sisters are great kisser.
See if we can read this puppy real quick. It says, when I was in university, I studied history, and there was this one major historian of the Third Reich, Ian Kershaw.
Ian Kershaw.
And his quote was,
"The path to Auschwitz was paved with indifference."
I know it's not very funny being a comedian talking about the Holocaust, but I think it's an interesting idea that not everyone in Germany had to be a raving anti-Semite. They just had to be apathetic.
So as you're sitting there wearing your mask and you think about, oh, well, I'm only doing it because I want the COVID to pass, and I may not be real, it might be real, whatever it is. I'm just going to go along rather than make waves. Although, why aren't you wearing yours, sir? You should. I'm calling the safety officers, where we sit here today, and there's safety officers walking around pointing out, please wear your mask. Please wear your mask. Meanwhile, they've determined that as we sit next to each other and converse on microphones, that COVID can't be a threat to us. No. However, if I were standing in a booth talking to someone about a firearm sale, that COVID's a clear threat and it must be eliminated by the safety officers.
Yeah, pretty much. Look, most of the time the tyranny happens because people who know better don't say anything, right? That's really how it happens. And we're at a point now where you have one side who's basically decided they're going to shut down speech by the other side. And by the way, we're not on the side that's doing the banning. There has never been in history a group of people, a society that has been about banning speech and banning books where it's ever worked out. The tyrants are always on the side of doing the banning, to be clear.
Absolutely.
Right? Am I right, guys?
Yeah, exactly.
You right. Yep. You right.
Crack open any history book.
Right. That's just
they're banning those, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I think they're banning those.
They don't want you learning from history.
They're banning history books, and they're attempting to rewrite history. Which, if you folks, just to be real, if you follow, to take some time, read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. Read the Communist Manifesto. Read about the history of Stalin and Lenin and Mussolini, and take a look at how they did what they did when you had government partnering with academia and partnering with the media and entertainment, and then with the corporations, all pushing an agenda to shut down any discussion or debate, starting to ban, and then they started taking away people's rights. And then once they did that, then they started taking away people's property, they started taking away their families, started taking away their children.
Their lives.
And then eventually their lives. Folks, communism is responsible for over 100 million deaths. And yet we are now in the process of trying to implement many of the tenets of we're not calling it communism. We're calling it critical race theory. We're calling it social justice. We're calling it transforming society.
Or democratic communism.
Democratic socialism.
Democratic socialism.
Democratic socialism.
They're saying it out in plain sight.
It's never worked out before in history. They didn't do it right. We will.
But we're going to do it different.
Right. I mean,
we're going to do it different.
Come on now. Mao didn't get it right. Mussolini didn't get it right. Stalin didn't get it right. Lenin didn't get it right. Right? Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-sun, none of them got it right. But we can Joe Biden can get it right. Joe Biden can get it right.
My butt's been wiped.
Okay. You know what? That's what he was probably saying. I can get it right. That's what he meant to say when he said his butt was wiped. Probably saying he was full of feces.
And I'm the one that got this kicked off YouTube.
I said feces. Anyway, hey, how about a shout out to our sponsors?
Hey, let's talk about our good friends over at Ghost Manufacturing. Should be Ghost Machining? No. It's Grid Defense. Guerrilla Machining. Grid Defense. Guerrilla Machine. There we go. Look, we're going to switch cameras. There we go. Hold on.
Switch the cameras.
Switch cameras.
Bam.
There we go. Those two guys. That's Guerrilla Machining right there. And then our good friends at Grid Defense. And, of course, to the California Republican Assembly.
Right. California Republican Assembly. We also want to give a shout out to the folks over at GunTech USA for sponsoring.
GunTech USA. Let's talk about next level training.
Yes.
Let's talk about Lion Arms. We can keep going around the table. I keep forgetting. But, of course, most importantly today, to our friends from Beretta here at the Beretta Media Zone.
Yes, they were kind enough to donate their space for us to be able to be here in the middle of the action as the event is going on. So it's been a lot of fun. We're having a great time so far. We apologize for being a little late today. Technical difficulties, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, see, blame the brother. You have not come to realize yet, we are in America. Everything is the white man's fault. Come Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Uh-huh.
Clearly, you have missed the key, missed the point. Anyway, folks, that's going to be it for today's episode. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing, and if you're just listening, you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Anyway, folks, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much. Have a good time. Stay out of trouble. Yada, yada, yada. We'll see you tomorrow on Hump Day.
Hump Day. We going sizzling. We going sizzling.